So today I'm going to be talking about my 2013 Cadillac ATS 2.0 that's been swapped to a 5.3 LT motor. I'm going to try my best to get right to the point, but I don't do a lot of these, so sorry if I ramble. So first off, you are going to need an ATS-V front engine cradle. It'll accept the V8 mounts, and it'll put everything where it needs to be. I'm even using a Camaro factory transmission mount, and everything is where it needs to be. It's possible that if you have a factory V6 car, the motor mount spacing will be wide enough to accept the V8 engine, but on top of that, the 2.0 and the 3.6 and the CTS-V Sport actually use a more narrow radiator than the real CTS-V, ATS-V, and Camaro SS CL1 use. And it's also about 2 inches further towards the front of the engine. As the Cadillac ATS engine bay is about 4 to 6 inches shorter than a real V or Camaro SS, that'll be a problem if you're going to be running a blower. The blower accessory drive adds about 2 inches, and then the snout of the blower where the intake bolts up comes out at a crazy angle, and so you'll have to get creative even if you're using the proper radiator, just because of the front end height difference. Now, the real nitty gritty of it is that you'll need a CTS-V engine harness. It'll have the proper connectors in the fuse box and where it connects to the body. You'll have to move around a couple of pins just because the CTS-V has way more circuits. You won't be using most of them, but you'll just have to move the pins around to match what's in your car. I'm using basically all factory hardware: PCV hoses, heat exchanger hoses, heater core hoses, AC lines. All of it fits in the ATS, and with the exception of the transmission cooler hoses, that depends on what you want to do. I'm still on the factory ATS rear diff, which doesn't have cooling, and the transmission cooler lines are attached to all of that, so I'm actually only using the built-in cooler that's in the radiator. Transmission temps are safe, so if you're going to be tracking the car, you'll need an external cooler. Maybe think about using the real ZL1 stuff. I probably wouldn't spend the money on that, though. I'd just go straight to a big external. That makes way more sense. Another key difference is going to be the fuel pump control module. 2.0T, CTS-V Sport, LF3, V6. They use a fuel pressure control module, and essentially it's a box. It's on the CAN bus line, and it's basically looking at the engine's RPM and boost, and it's pre-programmed to just spit out a fuel pressure. You need credits to change those. They might be compatible with the V or ZL1 setup, but what the CTS-V, ATS-V, Camaro SS, and ZL1 use is a fuel pump control module, and that uses its own dedicated CAN bus line straight to the PCM, that the PCM tells the fuel pump to go to this fuel pressure, and it does it. It doesn't do any thinking of its own. It's basically just a fuel pump driver. You know, you can do whatever you want on your build. You don't have to use a fuel pump control module at all. You could just run a pump straight, no pulse width or anything like that. I just had the module, so I integrated it. If you do go that route, you will have to run 5 wires. You'll have to run that dedicated CAN bus high and low, and then the fuel pressure sensor up to the engine bay, because previously the module was taking care of it. So I know, kind of a shitty voiceover, but just a little rundown of what I did so far is ATS-V front cradle, ATS-V radiator, CTS-V heat exchanger, CTS-V heat exchanger lines, ATS-V AC condenser, ATS-V radiator brackets, CTS-V radiator hoses, CTS-V motor mount brackets, ATS-V motor mounts, Camaro transmission mount, CTS-V or ZL1 fuel pump control module, CTS-V engine computer, CTS-V engine wiring harness, and that's basically it. So some questions that I saw were, will you lose AC? AC does work. That's just controlled through a relay, so that's real simple. Tachometer will work, speedometer will work, push to start will work, all that stuff will work. I lost cruise control and I lost traction control. Now, the ATS-V actually uses the same E92A PCM that the CTS-V and Camaro use, so I know that hardware is compatible. The reason why I think that I lost traction control is because my ABS pump just isn't compatible with 2016 and newer operating system. You know, if you want to experiment with some hardware, I'm sure you could get it to work again, but I don't really need those. But anyways, yeah, that's the car. If you guys get any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I can't provide you a part by part build list. It's long. Just if you think it's directly related to the engine and it came from a 2016 plus CTS-V SS or Camaro ZL1, you're probably going to need it. Yeah,